Hey everyone, welcome to this explainer. We are diving straight into something totally wild today, a massive, incredibly detailed digital synthesis document called Medulla Pulse 12. This isn't just some random late-night internet rabbit hole, okay? It's a meticulously sourced tracking document unpacking a really unsettling modern mystery. We're going to look at a highly complex thesis all about government continuity, missing assets, and what might be a massive global smokescreen. It's a totally fascinating look at some very weird data points, so let's just jump right in. 11, that's the exact number of top-tier scientists currently confirmed dead or missing, which really kicks off our deep dive today. And look, we aren't talking about just anybody here. We're talking elite aerospace engineers, nuclear physicists, plasma defense contractors. The Medulla Pulse 12 document pulls from FBI reports, the House Oversight Committee, and various news networks to lock down this totally verified data point. 11 of our absolute brightest minds are literally just gone. So, that brings us to the central, honestly pretty haunting question of this entire synthesis. Where exactly are the world's top defense and aerospace scientists going? Because according to the Medulla Pulse 12 text, they definitely aren't just wandering off. The document maps out this staggering, highly organized theory of covert asset extraction. To really wrap our heads around the source material, we've got to define its core thesis, the breakaway civilization. The authors argue that we're basically watching a compartmentalized continuity program play out in real time. The idea is that a parallel society is actively grabbing high-level human assets and stashing them in secure underground facilities, all while purposely distracting the rest of us. It's a massive claim, right? So let's look at the evidence the document brings to the table. Section 1. Tracking the assets, the 11 missing scientists. Let's look at the actual people vanishing here. Take Amy Eskridge, for example, an anti-gravity and exotic propulsion researcher whose highly disputed suicide was followed by an immediate cremation. Then there's Stephen Garcia, a contractor making 80% of non-nuclear nuke components, who vanished, leaving only with a handgun. Or Nuno Loureiro, an MIT nuclear physicist working on plasma turbulence, who was found shot to death. From Los Alamos employees to retired Air Force major generals, we're talking about individuals with the absolute highest level clearances, leaving behind normal lives in incredibly suspicious or just totally unexplained ways. But it's not just who is disappearing, it's when. The document highlights this highly concentrated operational window. Basically, between May and August of 2025, 4 key disappearances happened in rapid succession: Chavez, Reza, Casillas, and Garcia. The synthesis argues this is a huge red flag, indicating a planned, coordinated extraction window rather than just some random statistical anomaly. So, where are they supposedly taking them? According to the thesis, these assets are being relocated into this massive network of underground government bunkers. And what's wild is how the document maps these locations perfectly to FEMA regions. Region 3 aligns with Mount Weather, Region 6 with the Denton Federal Center, and Region 7 points to Subtropolis out in Kansas City, which, by the way, is a staggering 55 million square foot underground complex. To put that in perspective, that's incredibly massive. This geographic correlation between where the scientists vanished and these established secure facilities is really the cornerstone of the Medulla Pulse 12 research. And there's a super specific logistical preference at play here too, converting existing limestone mines. The document points out that limestone is incredibly practical for this. It's soft enough to excavate easily, but it becomes highly stable once you support it. It naturally stays at a constant 68 degrees Fahrenheit, and it's naturally sound dampening. So it's basically the perfect physical environment if you were building a covert long-term continuity program. Section 2, the distraction layer, Golden Dome and geopolitics. Now, if this is all happening right under our feet, how on earth is it staying out of the headlines? Well, the synthesis claims we are being deliberately forced to look the wrong way. On one hand, you have the hidden program, covertly moving assets to limestone bunkers. On the other hand, you have the public layer. We are all captivated by surface-level global tensions, hot wars, and massive public defense spending. The document argues this public layer is literally engineered just for narrative control, while the real prep happens below. And the timing of this public layer is absolutely crucial. Get this, the $185 billion Golden Dome space defense program perfectly overlaps with the exact window those scientists vanished. In May 2025, right when the extraction window opens with Anthony Chavez vanishing, the Golden Dome is publicly announced. The thesis suggests that dumping billions into Space Force and next-gen missile defense acts as the ultimate bright, shiny object. It keeps the public and the media totally focused upwards, looking at space instead of underground. Then you add in the very real physical signals of global conflict, and the picture gets even more complex. The document highlights the developing hot war scenario between the US and Iran. We've got 3 carrier groups deployed. The physical reality of Brent oil hitting $107 a barrel because of the tension in the Strait of Hormuz. Peace talks publicly stalling out. The document suggests this is the perfect geopolitical smokescreen. The fear and economic anxiety up on the surface provide the exact necessary cover for these silent operations happening down below. Section 3. The mechanics of control, financial networks, and technology. So, who is actually orchestrating this massive cover operation? The thesis maps out a tightly knit network of defense contractors and venture capital firms, specifically pointing to the orbit of Peter Thiel and J.D. Vance. You've got companies like Medulla and Palantir building the AI command nervous system for the Golden Dome, Narya Capital coordinating the defense investments, and media conglomerates engineering market stability narratives. The document claims this specific group is building the integration layer that links radars, sensors, and space interceptors into a real-time network, which gives them unprecedented technological and financial leverage. Now, let's see how this builds into an even more speculative but deeply fascinating layer of the synthesis: biological compliance without chemical sedation. The document introduces a concept called sonogenetics. Essentially, it's the targeted modification of specific neurons so they respond to focused ultrasound frequencies, meaning it allows for the remote, reversible activation of neural circuits. Crazy, right? So how does this sci-fi tech connect back to our architects? The document draws a really provocative, though it explicitly notes unproven, line from venture capital funding straight to defense research. It highlights a $2.7 million DARPA contract awarded to a company called Circuit Therapeutics for circuit manipulation. The synthesis tracks that this company was founded by Stanford researchers and got early funding through Thiel's network orchestrated by J.D. Vance. The claim here is that they're researching methods for targeted population management that go way, way beyond traditional means. Furthermore, the text claims political figures within this network are using a highly evolved playbook to run this decentralized empire. It explicitly brings up the Cheney method of legal ambiguity, basically operating in a gray zone to completely bypass oversight. It argues that by using deep intelligence backgrounds and leveraging private tech networks like Palantir, they can run a massive, covert infrastructure completely outside of traditional public scrutiny, all while the media is busy with surface-level political theater. We're just reporting what the source claims here, but it definitely outlines a very sophisticated method of bureaucratic control. Section 4. The philosophical engine. Why is this happening? But really, why go to all this trouble and expense? The document roots the entire program in the deeply held metaphysical beliefs of these tech billionaires. It cites public statements, like a quote from Peter Thiel talking about the Antichrist and the danger of serious religion. The synthesis argues that these architects don't just treat apocalyptic scenarios as fun little thought experiments, they treat them as absolute, inevitable certainties based on Christian eschatology. Which brings us to a really crucial distinction made in the text. The people building this breakaway society aren't hiding it because they feel guilty or because they think they're doing something criminal. No, the thesis argues they're executing this massive covert plan because they genuinely believe an extinction-level event is coming. In their minds, extracting top scientists to limestone bunkers isn't some evil conspiracy. It's literally a necessary survival protocol for the human race, or, well, at least a select part of it. Before we wrap up this explainer, we definitely need to impartially note the document's own self-assessment of its evidence. The authors of Medulla Pulse 12 are actually really upfront about the nature of their synthesis. They self-assess their claims as being roughly 60% evidenced, so things like the 11 missing scientists, the FEMA bunker locations, and those public defense contracts. The other 40% are speculative leaps, like the direct intent behind sonogenetics or the exact nature of the coming event. It's really important to keep that structural balance in mind when you're digesting all this information. Which leaves us with the ultimate open question. If the architects of this breakaway civilization are truly preparing for an extinction-level event right now, what is the actual threat they believe is coming? Is it an asteroid, nuclear war, a massive solar event, or something else entirely? Next time you read the headlines, you just might find yourself looking a little bit closer. Thanks for exploring this with me.